Ayugesh, morning. Maria, good morning. Jen, morning again. Shafi. Morning, Aya.
Morning.
Morning. Muhammad, good morning. Deng.
Sali ang bike tapos magtatapos sila.
O, sige.
Sali ka magkain. Malati kung ipili na blanco.
It's gone. Where are the others?
Di others. saw you. I saw you. Now you see me?
Morning, Yogesh.
Yes, good morning, lady. How are you?
Good morning. I'm well, thank you. Healthy. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
Yogesh, can I just tell them just few lines for our agenda for next week so
Sure.
that everybody is all aware? Okay. So I guess everyone is all here. Good morning again, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. Okay. So today we are on our 6th class, right, sir? Yeah. Strategic pay plans. So for next week, it will be your last class for CHRP. That's for labor law. So the agenda will be from 9 to 11. You guys will discuss the labor law. And then from 11 to 12, you will have a revision with him for the entire modules that he had discussed for the entire class. Now, for those who are writing an exam, for CHRP and CHRM, your exam is confirmed to be scheduled on 20th of November. Okay, so you must have received an email that says 27. Just have to disregard that email. Okay. Hello, am I talking to?
Okay.
Okay,
Clear.
It's clear. Anyhow, I'll be sending you an official email about what I have discussed today. I've also sent you the labor law slides that you will be using for your next class for a CHRP. So I hope you all receive it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, lady.
Welcome, sir.
All right.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome, everyone. So let me just put.
Good morning, Yogesh.
I hope everyone is doing well.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so today we have strategic pay plans, our next module. So strategic pay plans is the last module as far as our ACI syllabus is concerned. So the CHRP course completes with this module as far as your ACI exam is concerned. What it means is the next module, which is the labor law, is not covered in the exam. So you will not get any question from the labor law. You will get questions only till strategic pay plans. So I hope most of you have received the mock test also, the question paper. If today we will see if we have time today after the session is ended, we can discuss that mock question paper with you. And if you have any doubts, you can clear those doubts regarding the question paper. If you have not got it, or if you have not attempted the mock exam, I suggest during next week you should attempt it and highlight the questions where you have doubts, which we can take in the next week's class. Okay. All right. So as the name suggests, here we are saying strategic pay plans. So obviously the question is, aren't we using strategic pay plans right now? Are our pay plans strategic in nature? The kind of pay plans that we are using in our companies, are these pay plans strategic or not? That's a very important question. And if you honestly try to answer this question, the answer will be no. Why? Because currently most of the organizations, the way they devise their pay plan is benchmarking. So the benchmarking is the key for pay plans. Most of us, when we decide salary for any position, we decide salary as per the market standard. Now, even in the market standard, there will be certain limitations. For example, in UAE market, for example, the market standard for the same position, let's take HR manager, or let's take sales manager. HR manager for Indian origin, an Arabic origin, or a British origin, you will have different salaries. Why? Is there any analysis? Is there any scientific approach to prove that? Answer is no. It is entirely based on the market standards. It is entirely based on the benchmark which the market has right now. So is it right? Is it scientifically, logically correct? No, it's not logically correct. It's not scientifically correct. It is just that we are being opportunist. We are using the opportunity and then paying the salary as per the benchmark. So it is not strategic. A second example would be a position which you don't have in the market. So let's say there are many positions right now. Let's say you have an artificial intelligence, or I can say automation expert. In your company, you want to hire an automation expert with experience in artificial intelligence. Now, this is a position you rarely find in the market. So how you will decide the salary of this person? Or some unique positions which are not available in the market. Like nowadays, there are many positions which are coming up, product managers, which is quite old now, but still there are positions which in different e-commerce sector, there are different categories, category manager, and there are different positions which are coming up nowadays. So how do you decide salary of these people? Is it based on the benchmarking? Again, the answer is no. So you need to have some strategy in place. You need to have some system, simple system in place where you can design salaries, pay packages of people. It cannot be based on the market standard, and I will prove it in the coming slides that in fact the market standards many times are wrong. And because of wrong market standards, we suffer. We suffer as a society. Sometimes we suffer as a country. So we are going to talk about those concepts. So what we should start with is that we need to think about pay plans and packages strategically rather than just based on the benchmark or the market standards, right? That is the reason most of the companies would go for salary surveys and wait for salary surveys and ask consultants like us to conduct a salary survey so that they can decide their salaries based on the market standards. So in this module, we'll try to understand the concept of total rewards and different types of rewards, different types of compensation. We'll try to understand how you can move from non-strategic, non-analytical pay plans or job evaluation methods to analytical job evaluation methods. And then we'll see about the future needs of rewards and recognition. Also, I would like here to introduce the idea of EVP, employee value proposition, although this is something we discuss in CHRM in detail. But here we should just at least have knowledge of the concept of EVP. Because nowadays, many companies, they have started using the word EVP in place of compensation and benefit. Head of employee value proposition instead of head of compensation and benefit. So what is the difference between comp and ben and EVP? So EVP is more comprehensive term. In simple language, if we have to define, EVP is more comprehensive term. EVP includes not only the salary, benefit, rewards, it also includes the environment in which the job is performed. It also includes the culture of the company, the career development opportunities in the company, goodwill of the company in the market, your corporate brand, and your employer brand. All is included in the EVP. Because if you see as an employee, what do you expect from your company? Obviously, you all expect salary on time. But is it just the salary that you expect? No. Imagine you go to an office where the environment inside the office is very, very bad, suffocating. I would not give any bad example, but I remember here in Dubai only, once I went to an office and it was totally overcrowded. There is no place to sit, and maybe it was because of certain project that they were doing 6 months back. But the environment in the office was not at all healthy. People were not able to hear each other, and overall, the infrastructure was not good enough to handle this many number of people. So naturally, even if you are paid well, but if you are sitting every day in that environment and you barely adjust yourself and spend your time 8-9 hours in the office, then it is going to be a challenge for you in long term. You know, the environment directly affects the productivity of the employee, the motivation of the employee, right? Like you go to some offices, government offices back in India. I'm sure here most of the offices are well managed. and that's a really good achievement of the UAE government. Especially Abu Dhabi offices, you will be impressed if you go to Abu Dhabi government offices. So the infrastructure is a very important aspect of any company. For example, look at Apple's. I don't know if you have seen Apple's headquarter. If you see Google's headquarter, Facebook, they spend millions of dollars, maybe $500 million for Apple. So why they spend these millions of dollars in just a building or space? The reason is because it affects your experience, your employment experience. So all this is part of EVP. It is not just limited to the salary or benefit that you are getting. Equally important is the career growth opportunity in the company. Are you given an opportunity to grow in the company? Succession plans, transparency in the systems. All these are important things. Performance management system of the company is also EVP. So you can see it's a very broad area now. When I just look at as a compensation and benefit manager, I'm interacting only with finance or HR. But when I am working as EVP manager, I am interacting with a lot of different stakeholders like marketing head, IT department, automation department, the management. So because the role is very, very wide and it affects all employees at core. So this is the new development in terms of total rewards and the way we manage compensation and benefits in the company. Now, in this chapter, we are limited to one part of EVP, that is total rewards. So there are two types of rewards that you see in organizations. One is monetary, second is non-monetary. So no rewards for guessing. Monetary is where money is involved, non-monetary money is not involved. So here is a challenge for you. Write down at least 10 of each monetary and non-monetary reward. Let me give some example. Example of a monetary reward will be salary. Example for non-monetary reward will be flexi time or work from home. So there is no money involved, right? Now I want you guys to write down 10 of each. You can take 5 minutes. Try to write down 10 monetary and 10 non-monetary rewards by yourself. Okay, so I hope you have written. Now let's try to reconcile. Okay, first was salary as monetary. Okay, what else can be in the monetary? Commission, bonus, overtime, and allowances. All right. Okay, say commission. Then we can have bonus, overtime, allowances. So allowances is very wide area like housing, education, communication, travel, etc. All right. What else? Vouchers. Okay, let me go one by one. Increment, uh, medical insurance, okay, cash prizes, profit share, increment, ESOP or profit share. What is ESOP? Employee stock option plans or profit share. So profit share is different from bonus? Yes. Bonus is different, profit share is different. Flight tickets. Some companies give paid vacations. What else? Retirement fee. What is retirement fee generally? Yeah, so end of service benefits are there, such as gratuity, annuity, pension, EF. Okay, so you're referring to gratuity. Okay, all right. So what else? Right. Okay. There can be other also, like somebody said, refer to gifts, gift card, vouchers, coupons, cash vouchers, some gift coupons, etc., etc. Yes, all these are monetary rewards. Now let's talk about non-monetary, where money is not involved. Hmm. Insurance training, Plans are not reward, but when we convert plans into physical training, then it becomes a reward, right? Training or learning. Appreciation. Recognition. Recognition in form of employee of the month, employee of the week, or employee of the year, leader of the year, etc., etc. All these are recognition. Certificates, recognition. So they all are covered in appreciation and recognition, all the certificates, etc., etc. Yes, Laddie gave some good suggestions. New job title and giving a project. That's good. New title. Or giving a new assignment or a project. By the way, what is so rewarding about giving a new project? It's a burden, right, on the individual. Is it a reward? The answer is yes, because it's a challenge. And good performers, strong people like challenges. They want challenges in their work life. Yeah, promotion is same as a new title. Okay, yes, somebody said inviting them to a 5-star hotel. It simply means events, corporate events, parties, etc. Okay, someone said work-life balance. That's a good reward. Work-life balance. Also, work from home is also an example of work-life balance. The work environment. Right. That's a very important reward. The work environment. All right, that's good one. Social media recognition. Is it? Can anyone give some example? Social media recognition. Nowadays, you have LinkedIn kudos, etc. No, you can just go to LinkedIn and give kudos to one of your employee or celebrate their 1 year, 2 year, 3 years in the company. You can say thank you to them on LinkedIn. These things. I remember before, and LinkedIn recently brought this idea, but we were using it 6, 7 years back also. So in our company internet, we provided in our HRMS, we provided a facility where you can give kudos or thank you to anyone in the. Not only that, when you give a thank you or kudos to someone, it will add to your performance management score as well. So we used to have 5 marks overall for the peers appreciation. So in case in a year, if you get 4 appreciation, you will get the 5 marks. So yes, now that is part of social media also. LinkedIn is doing that now in their in their social media. What else? Okay. Any other examples? So I think out of these many examples which you have shared here, most of the non-monetary I'm talking about. So things like work environment, they're huge. They are not small. These are huge rewards when it comes to employee motivation. Mm, Appreciation is a huge reward. Flexi time is a work-life balance is a huge reward. And if you compare with these rewards with monetary rewards, you will find that most of these rewards are more powerful than monetary rewards. In fact, most of the monetary rewards like salary, for example, salary, overtime, commission, they are provided as per the labor law, isn't it? So they are mandatory. So these rewards become hygiene factors. Okay. So these are hygiene factors, simply means must have. This is the minimum expectation that salary is not even considered a reward. It is a hygiene factor. Commission is a hygiene factor. Everyone is giving it market standard. So what is there for motivation in this? Everyone is giving it. So it's not a reward. It's just a formality for most of the people that okay, salary, we are expecting salary. Obviously we are expecting other rewards, like if in this industry commission is there, then everyone should give commission. If in this particular industry you need to get service charges, then we all have to give service charges, right? So then it becomes a hygiene factor. It doesn't motivate people. What motivates people is something more than the hygiene factor, isn't it? And that something more can be like the flexi timing, like the training, learning, work-life balance, etc., etc. Okay, now I'm going to share with you some rewards, and let us look at these rewards. All these are non-monetary rewards, because most of us are very clear when it comes to monetary. But let's see if we identify some of these very, very powerful non-monetary rewards, such as purpose, challenge, recognition, training, career, people, etc. If I ask you which of the rewards which you have seen so far is the most powerful reward for a human being, in general, what is the single most powerful motivation factor for a human being? Recognition, learning, recognition, recognition, recognition. Most of you are saying recognition. Career, says Girish. Laddie and Edige say it's a purpose. Muhammad Hamouri says purpose. Aya, challenge. Career. I agree with most of you because you may have different, uh, in your life, as per the requirement, as per Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you may have different priorities. But if I was asking one single reward which is bigger than other rewards, then it is purpose. For example, some of you are saying it is recognition, it is career. So think about it. Why would a soldier die on the battlefield? Or trying to protect his country, why would a person die? Is it for his salary? Is it for the medals? Is it for a career? Obviously not. He's not also dying for the medal, isn't it? So why he's dying? Purpose. Because he believes in a purpose which is bigger than his life. Isn't it so? Now, fortunately or unfortunately, you may have a right purpose or you may have a wrong purpose also, isn't it? It depends on the perspective. So, for example, right now, which two countries are fighting? Huh? All the times, many countries are always fighting. So, Armenia and let's take Azerbaijan. So, for Armenian soldiers, to die for Armenia is a purpose, right? They can die for their country. For Azerbaijan soldiers, to kill Armenians is the purpose. So you may have two different purposes, right? Nobody knows who is right, who is wrong. And we cannot say because we come from different perspectives. But at least they have a purpose which is bigger than their life. And there are many examples in the world today. Like, for example, recently what happened in Paris. So somebody may die for freedom of expression and somebody may kill for other purpose. They both have their own perspective, isn't it? It's very hard to say whose perspective is wrong. So having a purpose is the biggest human reward. And this is where I think our leadership should be smart, not only the leadership of the organizations or leadership of small states. The leadership worldwide should be smart enough to create great purposes, which is lacking right now. So most of the organizations, they have purpose to win elections. What is happening is America right now, right? So Trump wouldn't care about the procedure counting votes. Otherwise, I will lose elections. I don't care, right? So if your purpose is only to win elections, then I'm afraid that is not such a great purpose. So purpose is a huge reward in itself, and people do crazy things for a purpose. People kill themselves, people kill others, people may go on a hunger strike, people may leave their family, their children, their house. I remember in India, we have, when we were kids, we used to hear a story of a king in India, and he was known for his truthfulness, that I will never lie in my life. And it is sad that his son was killed, his wife was sold, his entire kingdom was taken away, but he did not lie a single time. So he was given opportunities that if you lie, we can say protect your son, we can leave your son. But he said, no, go ahead. You can kill him, but I will not lie. So for him, truth is his purpose. Okay, and he's ready to die for that purpose. He's ready to let go his family, kids, wife, etc. for the purpose. So similarly, many, even today, some of you may say that, but these were old days. Today, even today, people are getting killed, killing others for purpose. So having a purpose in life is much higher reward than anything else. How is it relevant to our time and our HR education? Is that the biggest challenge for future HR leaders is to link individuals, employees with the purpose of the organization. That is going to be your biggest challenge and should be your biggest area of concern. For that, you need to have a great vision. For that, you need to have a clear mission and values. And then your challenge is to link your people with that vision and values, which starts from hiring the right people who believe in that vision or values, and then promoting, rewarding, giving benefits to the people who show, alignment with that vision and values in their results and day-to-day behavior in the organization. That is the key challenge, and that many companies are doing it properly. I mean, not if not 100%, then at least to a great extent. There are some companies which are doing it. For instance, take example of a company like uh, Google, for example. So they have a vision that we want to make the world's information universally accessible, so that information is available to everyone in the world. So in fact, nowadays, Google is a big challenge for many doctors and many, because the patient first goes to Google and searches all the medicine and everything, then he goes to the doctor, isn't it? So everyone is having doctor in his phone, right? Same for the lawyers, goes for the lawyers, right? So I remember there was a case, and in my family, so one of my uncle, he was fighting this legal case, and I used to study everything on the law, all the Indian Penal Code, and then I used to suggest that you can do this, you can do that. I'm not a lawyer, obviously. So same goes with all other professions. I'm sure nowadays, even if you want to make a house, you need not to be an architect. I learned my entire cooking through YouTube, right? So there is a lot of information available today. What you need to do is you need to have a clear vision and goal, and then you need to link or motivate people, or at least have such people who believe in that vision. So that's our goal as HR managers. So like I was giving example of Google, what they do is they first thing that Google wants their HR department to make sure is that you must hire people who are aligned with our vision and values. So like they have values such as intellectual humility. We want very smart people at Google, but people who know they are very smart, but they don't behave like they are smart. They are humble. They have humility. So if somebody is very intelligent and he is a kind of narcissist where he says, I'm the most intelligent, now this person is not fit for Google as per their culture and values. So they want people who are very smart but humble. Humility should be there. Same thing, they want emergent leadership. What is emergent leadership? Somebody who is ready to lead others, but once the project is finished, he should be able to come back and live or work in the previous capacity again. And that is very rare. So these are certain values which are aligned with the vision of Google, and they want people to have all this, and they should work with a purpose. Similarly, companies like if you are aware about this company called SpaceX. Now, SpaceX has a vision that we will go to Mars, we will set up a human colony on planet Mars by 2035. So if you are joining SpaceX, you must believe in that vision or a purpose. Now you have a purpose which may be bigger than the salary, isn't it so? If you are working in such project and your salary is delayed for 1 or 2 months, you won't leave the company because the salary is delayed, isn't it? You will fight for it. You want the company to be successful because you believe in a purpose which is bigger than your salary or reward or incentives. So that's how SpaceX would link their employees with the purpose. So if these companies can do it, why can't our companies do it? We can also do it. We just need to finalize, we just need to have the right vision, the right mission, the right value system, and we need to train and educate our people about that vision and value system. All right, so that's a huge reward for us. And that's my challenge for all of you. Try to create this alignment. Try to provide a purpose to your people in your organization. Second is challenge. Challenge simply means challenging an individual for something which he's not comfortable doing right now, or which is a kind of stretched goal you have not done before. If you are asked to do now, that's a challenge. If you make salary every month and you are asked to make salary, that's not a challenge. A challenge is something which you are, when you are going out of your comfort zone, or when you are trying entirely new assignment, that's a challenge. uh, Cherry Alexander was head of PepsiCo for over 18 years, PepsiCo HR, and she said there was a one single rule of identifying talent as far as I was concerned. So at Pepsi, how would we identify talent? Someone who accepts challenges is the talent. Someone who accepts the challenges. Why? Because challenges are directly proportional to growth. Somebody who accepts challenges will grow in the corporate life. It's very simple. Somebody who doesn't accept challenges cannot grow. Like, for example, all of you accepted the challenge of this course, completing the course and writing an exam. That's a challenge which will lead you to growth. Anywhere in your life, if you see, till your, today, your whatever you are in situation, whatever life situation you are in today, if you see, all your growth happened because somebody challenged you or you challenged yourself. It was a teacher, or it was your family members, or it was your friend, or yourself, or your organization, or your boss, or any business leader, or an icon. Someone challenged you. And when someone challenges you, you accept it, you grow, right? Yes, like Muhammad says, it is being comfortable in your uncomfortable zone. That is what it means by accepting challenges. So try to give, and imagine what would be life without challenges. People would die out of boredom. People will start committing suicides if they are not challenged. Many of them, not all. Somebody who has found peace with themselves, they are fine. But most of the people, if they are not challenged, imagine if you are not challenged in anything in your life will become very, very boring, and people start committing suicides. So why people are going into depression during COVID? Because lack of challenges. Someone sitting at home, lockdown, and nothing to do, no challenges, etc. So that's not good. Recognition. Recognition doesn't necessarily mean giving a certificate to a person. Recognition also means simple things such as thank you, well done, good job, I'm proud of you. All these are recognitions which works much, much better than giving a trophy to a person. Having a boss who recognizes your effort, who just gives thumbs up on every job rightly done or well done, that's a recognition, right? So this day-to-day recognition is needed. Training. Again, training not necessarily mean formalized training like this. Any learning could be simple training. You go to an office, you end up learning many things. You end up learning processes of finance. You end up learning how the credit department works. You end up learning how the billing works. You end up learning how IT works, etc., etc. All this is learning, which can help you tomorrow in your life. Many other examples of learning would be learning not only the skills, but also learning the right behaviors. How to a person who is senior to you, how not to talk to a person who is junior to you. All these things you end up learning. So this is the comprehensive learning that you are receiving from a company. Imagine a company who does not have anything to train, or any training or any learning opportunity. again, people will get bored and they will not be engaged in their jobs. They will not enjoy their jobs. Next is career. If you go to an organization, you end up having a career. So even if you are not enjoying other things, at least it is helping you to have a career. People. So people can be both like a challenge. People can also be a punishment or a reward. But even if the bad people, which you can call the punishments, they also reward you. They reward you with uh, insights about human psychology, about what people like, what people will not like, what to do, what not to do. So even people who you don't like, whom you work with, they teach you something. They make you more patient. They make you more tolerant, isn't it? So you end up learning from people, whether you like them or you do not like them. In fact, most of, I would say, like I know one of the people who helped a lot in my journey. So this gentleman was the CEO of the company. I was the senior manager HR, and working with him for 3 years was like doing an MBA from a top business school in the world. Because every time I interact with him, I end up learning something. He will suggest me a book to read. He will give me share an article with me. He will always encourage me to do things which I don't know or I'm not doing right now. So I remember once he said, why don't you conduct this 360-degree evaluation for all our business leaders? And I said, I've never done it. And then he said, great. Now it's an opportunity for you to do it. Go ahead, learn, and conduct the 360-degree review. I'm sure you can do it. Now that was a great motivation for me. I don't know if I never wanted extra salary for that, right? I spent 4 or 5 hours for 1 month. I spent 12 hours in my office, but I enjoyed the entire exercise. I learned a lot during the exercise. So all these are non-monetary rewards, which people really, really value. Even the non-monetary rewards can be divided into two, intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic rewards are those which only you can experience. For example, purpose, challenge, learning. These are intrinsic. You only experience that what I'm learning, what is my purpose, what challenges I am feeling, you only experience. So these are intrinsic. What are extrinsic non-monetary? A recognition, um, a promotion. So everyone is experiencing that. So which is more powerful, intrinsic or extrinsic? Intrinsic is more powerful than the extrinsic. Okay. So rewards like purpose, challenge, and training, which are intrinsic, will be more powerful than recognition, people, and career, which are extrinsic. All right. Now, there are different types of compensation. First is base pay. What is base pay? Base pay can be divided into two: salary, second is wage. Salary and wage. So, salary what is the difference between salary and wage? Salary is based on the performance. So basis of salary is performance, whereas basis of wage is time or piece. Basis of salary is performance, whereas basis of wage is time or piece. So salary is based on performance, not the time that you have spent in a job, whereas wage is simply based on the time. I'm sure most of you are aware. Wages are usually given on hourly or daily basis, whereas salary is mostly given on monthly or annual basis. So these are base pay, part of base pay. Now, apart from base pay, there are other variable rewards which you can give, such as performance-based compensation. What could be the performance-based compensation? Commissions, incentives, etc. They are examples of performance-based. Seniority-based. There are many seniority-based compensation also, such as gratuity. The more number of years you spend in the company, the more gratuity you will get, right? Golden handshake. There are some vacations or LTA benefits. It's given in India, not here. So which is leisure and traveling allowances. So you can go for a family vacation and tour with your family, etc. So these are all examples of rewards which you get as a seniority. In some countries, you are allowed to have 6 months, 8 months vacation. If you have spent 10 years, 20 years in the company, you want to go. Many times you will see, these European couples. They are going for a long vacation, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, going around the world. So that's a leave, or that's a vacation, paid vacation, that is provided by the company after a certain number of years of service. All right. Somebody wants to write a book, somebody wants to raise a kid, they may get these kind of leaves, which is of 6 months, 8 months vacation. You can, there are different names they are given. Some call it recreation. Yes. Okay. So that's a seniority based, examples of seniority based. Then we have pay differentials. So one example of pay differential is overtime. So how we define pay differential? Anything extra that you provide apart from pay for some additional effort. That's how we define pay differential. Pay differential is always given for an additional effort or hardship. Some people may call it hardship allowances, which is also fine. So what are examples of pay differentials? Overtime. Now, if you work for 8 hours, you get 100% of your base pay. But if you work overtime, you should get more than 100%, isn't it so? Because you are putting an additional effort. There is some hardship here. So that's why overtime pay is always higher than the normal pay. Overtime wage is always higher than the normal wage because it is a hardship allowance. It is for your additional effort. That is why we call it pay differential. Clear? Another example is like shift pay. People who are working in night shifts, people who are working in odd shifts, such as from 12 a.m. in the morning till 6 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. in the morning. Now that's what we call graveyard shift. Why we call it graveyard shift? Because if you do it for long, you end up soon in graveyard. Or ghosts and you are working now. That's why graveyard shift. I'm just kidding, but graveyard shift is a name for night shift, typical night shift. So if somebody is working at night, he is working against the body clock. Obviously, your body is not made for working in night. Your body is made for working during the day only. So if you are, I do not suggest a long-term night shift to anyone. But if somebody does that, we should give him extra reward. So usually salary of the night shift is always higher than the salary of general shift. So that is why it is a shift pay. That's why it's a pay differential. So we will pay higher for the night shift than the day shift. Okay, so there is a 15%, some places 10, some places 20, 25% higher salary for working at night. Then we have hazard pay. What is hazard pay? An extra pay differential or additional incentive for working in a hazardous environment. There are many examples of hazardous environments. People who are working in, let's say, nuclear power plant like ENEC. People who are working in offshore. People working in maritime services like merchant navy, naval forces, etc. During pandemic, the frontline workers. True, that's a hardship. They should all get hardship allowances. Very true. People who are working in war zones, like somebody who is posted in Afghanistan, somebody posted in Syria, a place like that. So they will get hardship allowances or hazardous pay. In a normal situation, there are certain industries which come under hazardous category, such as coal mining, such as many of the oil and gas companies. So naturally, HR manager of oil and gas company will have higher salary than HR manager of a normal company, mainland company. Why? Because it works in a hazardous environment. Electroplating units, like I was working in a company, manufacturing company, we used to have an electroplating plant. So there are a lot of chemicals which are used in electroplating process. So our manager of electroplating was highest paid among all the managers on the production floor. Why he was paid higher than others? Because the kind of job he was involved with was hazardous. It leads to a lot of, if you are not careful in that environment, you may get a lot of, long-term chronic diseases. Even it may lead to cancer, for example, because the chemicals you are dealing with are dangerous for human body. So they always get a higher salary. The entire electroplating department used to give them hazardous incentive. So they will get 20%, 30% more than the normal people as a salary. And everyone in the factory was aware that they are getting higher salary because they work in a hazardous. Even when we hire casuals for that department, let's say we have a big shipment, big order now, and we have to hire 10 casuals. So our casuals always used to fight for working. We want to work in the electroplating. Why? Because they will get a 20%, 25% more daily wage than any other department. Why? Because they have to work in a hazardous condition. Okay. I remember one of the chemical factories in India. My friend is the head of HR. He's now VP there. He sometimes tells me that we pay 30% more than the market standard in our company. So I asked him, why you pay 30% more? Then he said, if you work in our company for more than 10 years, you will live 30% less. Because there is ammonia all the time. There's this secretion, and you are going to inhale. No one can avoid that. And this is unfortunate, but they conducted a study 5 years back. They found 20% of their ex-employee developed cancer during later part of their life because of the chemicals that they are producing in that factory are cancerous. Yeah, similar example like Maria is giving firefighters. Yes. So these are hazard pay. Have you seen a situation where old employees are complaining? Old employees are complaining that their salaries are less or equal than the new employees. Old employees are complaining that their salary is equal or lesser than new. So this situation you might have faced in your work life, in some company or other. Why it happens? When old people are saying that their salary is less or equal to the new employees. So why it happens? The answer is, it happens because of pay compression or salary compression. We call this phenomena as pay compression. Like you look at this example. Right? So everything else is growing at a fast pace. If you look at it, in the last 15 years, the cost of education has increased by 50 times. In the last 20 years or 15 years, within 15 to 20 years. Like in some places, within 15 years, 50 times. Some places, maybe 20 years. But in the last 20 years or so, the cost of education have increased by 50 times. So imagine somebody who got, like in my own case, my post-graduation, so all the expenses from my school till post-graduation, I spent less money on my education or my father than what I'm spending for my son's 1 year school fee. Right? So why? Because the cost of education is really, really high now. And everything is more expensive. I remember we used to write on the slates. You remember slates? With a chalk and slate. We used to use slates only till we were in 5-6 year grade. And today, do you think kids would take a slate to write on? No. What they want? An iPad. They need an iPad, right? They are not going to use slates. So everything, not only the equipment are more expensive, all the education, or all the school fee, the cost of books, the printing cost, everything has gone really, really expensive. So tomorrow, these kids, when they are going to take up jobs, they are not going to satisfy with the salaries which you and me are satisfied with, isn't it? Their expectations will be really, really high. Naturally, they will expect more salaries because of the higher cost of their education. So this leads to, when the rate of inflation, why it happens is very simple. When the rate of inflation is higher than rate of increment. When the rate of inflation is higher than rate of increment, it leads to pay compression or salary compression. I am happy to share with you that in India, you will find most of the organizations, they will minimum provide 5 to 6% increment to every individual every year. The rate of salary increment in India is really, really higher than in this part of the world, Middle East. So I remember every year for whatever 13, 14 years I worked in India, every year we used to give increment. I did not see a single year in a single company in any kind of industry where we are not giving increment to an individual. Even if the person is a bad performer, he will get a 5% increment. Why? So that you are taking care of the inflation. People who are good performers, they are getting 15%, 20%, even 25% increment. When the economy was also going very, very fast, obviously not during COVID period. So that's a good practice to avoid pay compressions or salary compressions. All right. So now we are going to talk about job evaluation methods. So how do we create strategic pay plans? We come back to the same question again, which we started asking. So how do we create strategic pay plans? So first you need to understand what we are doing today, how we are evaluating our jobs, and what possibly how you can evaluate the jobs. So we'll try to understand both. So today what we are doing is the non-analytical methods. We are using non-analytical methods to evaluate jobs. Let me give one example. Take example of this small clinic. In a small clinic, we may have 4 or 5 positions only. There is a doctor, there is a nurse, reception, office assistant, and a cleaner. Step 1 in ranking method is to rank as per importance in the business. So in a small clinic, who has the most important role? Obviously the doctor, then the nurse, then the reception, then office boy, then the cleaner. Step 2 is benchmark their salary as per the market rate. So let's say in this part of the world, for a doctor, the salary may be, for a small clinic, maybe let's say 25,000 to 35,000 dirham. For a nurse, let's say it is 7 to 10,000 dirham. For a receptionist, let's say 3 to 5,000 dirham. An assistant, between 2 to 3,000 dirham. For a cleaner, between 1 to 2,000 dirham. Now that's what the market is paying, and we are paying as per the market benchmark. That is what we call ranking method. So ranking jobs as per the level of importance for the company, and then simply giving them a salary range, and then you start hiring people. That is ranking. But let's say we have a big hospital, not a small clinic, with 500 employees. Is it possible to rank 500 people like this? The answer will be no. You cannot rank 500 people like this. So we need something else. So what can we do? We can simply use the next method, which is classification method. Some people call it job grading. Some people call it pay bands, pay grades, salary grades, job grades, different names. You can also call it classification, which simply means you can classify different set of people in different groups. So what is the step one in this process? Step one is creating these grades. There is no written formula on grades. You can create your own grades. I can give you the world's best practice on that, but you can create your own grade the way you want. Some companies have 20, 30, 40, 50 grades. You can do that, but that's not the best practice. So what is the best practice in the world? The number of grades should be lesser and the range of benefits should be wider. That's the modern rule of grading. Okay. Number of grades are lesser, but the benefit range is broader or wider. So like in this case, we divided the company or the manpower into 10 grades, and you can see A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, C2, D1, D2, E1, E2. So they all are under 10 different grades. This is step one. Step two is all the positions in the company should be divided into these grades. So like the managing director, chairman, CEO, we are putting in A1. All other CXOs like CFO, CHRO, CTO, CIO, etc., CMO, they all are in the A2 category. Similarly, you can see B1, B2. So AVP, VP level people are B1. Senior manager, senior general manager, DGM may be under B2. Then C1 is senior manager, C2 can be assistant manager. Similarly, D1, D2, similarly E1, E2. So all the profiles of the company will be under these 10 grades. Okay. Now for each grade, there should be a salary range. That's the third step. There should be salary and benefit range. So example of salary range would be, let's say for A1, we have a range of between 80,000 to 120. For A2, let's say it is 60,000 to 80,000. For B1, we have between 40 to 60,000. For B2, it is between 30 to 50,000. There can be an overlapping of the salary. That's not an issue in this, okay? Between 20,000 to 30,000. So like this, you have to create a salary range and then other benefit range such as accommodation. So let's say you are going to give a villa or a managing director, chairman or CEO villa in Palm Jumeirah. For a CXO, you may give him a villa or give her a villa in a different location, like a villa in what's say Jumeirah village. Okay, Jumeirah village, sir. So similarly, for an EVP 3 BHK, 2 BHK, 1 BHK studio, and for the helper, you have bunk beds here. Right? So the accommodation is also divided in the range as per the grade. Communication allowances are also divided. Any other benefits, if you are giving, are also divided as per the job grading or the classification. That's what we call classification method. And I think 80% of the companies are using this classification. Right? Any doubts so far? Before we go for a break, any doubt? No doubts, huh? It's clear, right? Okay. So now we are going to take a break, and we can take between 15 to 20 minutes. So I think it's 10:20. We'll be back at 10:40. All right.